Last Friday, hundreds of Palestinians rioted at the Gaza border, throwing explosives and even trying to break through the fence. Why? We're going to talk about all that on today's show. Also, 5 Palestinian infiltrators were caught by a very special four-footed member of Israel's security team. Stay tuned for that. American and international pressure on Israel are now destroying memorials for terror victims inside Judea and Samaria. And Israel's Air Force is now taking their defense to the next level. I'm Josiah, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Welcome back to the show, guys. Great to be back with you again this week. First off, make sure to subscribe. You know the drill. If you enjoy the Israel Guys, also hit that like button. Really helps us get out to more people. Also, share the show with other people that you think are interested in Israel or want to learn more about what's happening on the ground here. Feel free to share our videos, share our channel with them. We're also on social media. You can follow us there if you're on any social media platforms, or if you're on all of them, follow us on all of them. We really appreciate that as well. Also, buy a t-shirt. If you go to the IsraelGuys.com, IsraelGuys.store, actually, you can pick up one of these Israel Guys t-shirts. One of my favorite t-shirts, actually, personally, to wear. So I just thought you guys should check it out. We got the cool flag on this sleeve design. Check that out. All right. What is happening in Israel today? So on Friday, there was a violent disruption, you could say, down in Gaza with the Palestinians who live down in the Gaza Strip. A violent disturbance, disruption at the actual border. More than 100 Palestinians rioted at the border fence. They threw explosive devices at the actual fence, trying to damage it, and and the IDF actually detected and stopped, thankfully, several attempts to cross the border fence, get Palestinians trying to climb over and break it and cut it, whatever they were doing. We have a couple of videos we can throw up of the Palestinians actually trying to go and break through the fence there. The Israeli troops that were stationed on the border in that area responded to the violent riot with riot dispersal methods, appropriate uses of force for these rioters that were violently trying to break the fence, including, tear gas, smoke bombs, all those unpleasant things that would make you not want to riot, especially in Israel. Israel is very good with dealing with that type of thing, and things eventually calmed down, although the Palestinians reported that 9 Palestinians had been injured in the riot. All I gotta say is, sorry, that's what you get when you start violent riots inside the Gaza Strip, trying to break into Israel. The crazy thing is that the situation in Gaza over the last several months, I would say, has deteriorated quite a bit. There have been lots of riots, lots of protests from the actual citizens, the Palestinians who live in the Gaza Strip, protesting against Israel. No, they're not protesting against Israel. They're protesting against the Hamas terror-run government. That it's Hamas-run, which is a terror organization, but their government that they set up that are systematically and constantly oppressing their own people inside of the Gaza Strip. And many Palestinians have just had enough of being oppressed by the Hamas government, by these terror scumbags that run the Gaza Strip, making it a hellhole for the people that actually live inside the Gaza Strip. People are tired of it, and we've seen, I don't know if we can find a video of it, of people just rioting in the streets against the Hamas government. So things are a little bit shaky for Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and obviously Palestinian Islamic Jihad operates there as well, another terror faction inside of the Gaza Strip. And also there have been reports of thousands of Gazans trying to leave the Strip, applying for visas to countries like Turkey, trying to leave the actual Gaza Strip, maybe to find work, because it's very hard for young Palestinian men to find jobs not connected with Hamas. Hamas is doing a very good job of offering people salaries, paying people to go out and be a terrorist, go out and work for their terrorist organization. There's actually been reports that these riots on Friday, that Hamas was actually paying these guys to go out and riot on the border cause disturbances. And then obviously if they get injured or hurt, then they get more pay, because that's the way the terror factions, terror organizations work here in Israel. You get hurt or you get injured by the Israeli occupation forces, quote unquote, then you get more money from your terrorist leaders there. And as we know, Hamas is basically the Muslim Brotherhood's proxy inside of Israel. So as you can imagine, living under their regime is got to be a horrific reality. So I actually do feel for the civilians, for the citizens who are not interested in harming Jews, not interested in or just interested in living a normal life. I feel for those guys that have to live under that horrible regime, and all because of the name of peace, you can say, because the international bodies around the world pressured Israel to give away that piece of land for peace. And unfortunately, it hasn't been peaceful for Israel, and it definitely has not been good for the Palestinian civilians who now live under that iron grip of terror. All right, something else that's actually that happened in Israel this week was also on Friday. Early Friday morning, several infiltrators from the Palestinian town of Qalqilia here in Samaria illegally crossed the border fence into what they call Israel proper, so across the Green Line into Israel proper, and they actually tried to infiltrate the Jewish town of Tzor Yitzchak, which is right outside the border. Don't really want to call it a border, but the 1967 armistice line, 1948 armistice line there, the Green Line, what they call it today, the Green Line, separating the West Bank from the rest of Israel. Now, you might be asking, how do Palestinians illegally cross the border? It's kind of the same thing that goes on our border in America with illegal immigrants crossing the border into America. There's holes in the fence. Obviously, there's parts of our border in America that are not, that you could just cross over very easily. And actually, we've been to the places here in Israel, near Qalqilia, very specifically, that you can watch the video, link is in the description below, that we went to there and showed you the holes, showed you the wide open gaps where hundreds, if not thousands of Palestinians are crossing illegally every day to go work inside of Israel. And unfortunately, as we've seen with a lot of the last terror attacks, many of them came from Judea and Samaria, the terror attacks in Tel Aviv and in these places outside of Judea and Samaria. Many of these terrorists actually came through those holes in the fence with weapons, just immediately straight out into the Israel centers, population centers, Tel Aviv, Haifa, Netanya, all of those just walked right through the fence. So these guys apparently did the same thing, walked right through. And the town security of Tzor Yitzchak, the security system was alerted as the suspect approached the town. They were dressed in all black, carrying black bags, so very, very suspicious. And they entered walking into the town through one of the back roads on the Jewish town there. The security head of security there at that town gets the notification that the security system has been alerted. He rushes to the scene with his very special partner, whose name is Nala, which is actually a security dog for the community of Tzor Yitzchak there. He comes, flies up to where these suspects were. The suspects take off. He jumps out of his truck. You can actually see the video right here. Jumps out of his truck, lets the dog loose, and Nala actually goes and captures those three guys that were walking right there. Security forces a few minutes later captured the other two Palestinian infiltrators that were hiding just a little bit further away. So thankfully, all 5 of these Palestinians that illegally crossed and were trying to infiltrate this town were arrested, but only through the help of Nala, the security dog. And we thank Nala for her very special help in this situation. You guys can just spam the comments with "We love Nala," the security dog right there. Maybe she'll get some love from there. But the police have yet to, they're questioning these guys to find out exactly what their intentions were with trying to infiltrate this town. But several of them actually are on wanted lists in the Israeli police and have actual criminal records. So we're thankful these guys were stopped. Who knows what could have happened or what their intentions were crossing into and trying to get inside this Jewish town here in Israel. We'll be right back to the show in just 1 second, but first, are you ready to change lives in the land of Israel? The Jewish high holidays are approaching, offering a perfect opportunity to fulfill the biblical mandate of giving to those in need. we're joining forces with Me'ir Panim, an extraordinary organization dedicated to transforming lives. Did you know that nearly 2 million Israelis, including over 1 million children, are living in poverty? These families face heart-wrenching decisions between buying groceries, medicine, or paying rent. Your generous support will provide essential food for struggling families, ensuring children have a warm meal, implementing long-term solutions to break the cycle of poverty, and empowering at-risk teens. Shockingly, 1 in 3 Israeli Holocaust survivors lives in poverty, enduring both the horrors of the past and the food insecurity of today. Me'ir Panim's mission is to give with dignity with their 5 restaurant-style soup kitchens and food vouchers. As Proverbs 19:17 reminds us, whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. Your contribution holds the power to make a lasting impact, change a life, and feed a hungry child, Holocaust survivor, and a family today. Bring hope and crucial support to those who need it most. Click the link in the description below to donate today. All right, guys, I want to talk about something that I don't exactly enjoy talking about, having to report about things like this, but I think this really needs to be covered in its very specific, proper context. So Israel's civil administration this morning, Monday morning, September 4th, destroyed an quote-unquote illegal tourist observation point near the Jewish town of Yitzhar. So this is Israel's governmental authority coming in, the civil administration coming in and destroying this lookout post. Now, this wasn't just any lookout. This wasn't just any, view that you could stop and look out and see the view. This specific point was actually built in memory of Rina Schnurb. Rina Schnurb was a 17-year-old girl who was murdered by Palestinian terrorists near the Jewish town of Dolev back in 2019. So Israel is coming in and destroying this small observatory / lookout because it is quote unquote illegal, right? Now, I'm not exactly sure what the specifics are on the actual land status that it's built on, but I 100% believe that it's irrelevant in this situation. The premise here is very, very interesting and actually quite crazy. A 17-year-old girl was murdered by an explosive device that was planted by a recreational spring down in Dolev. Her father and brother were actually very, very seriously injured in the attack as well, but they miraculously survived. She did not. She died. Because the nation of Israel is so connected, there's so much of a family here in the land of Israel. The Jewish people are so connected together. Many communities throughout Judea and Samaria and throughout Israel actually built memorials in her honor, in honor of her, this beautiful young life that was taken by these evil people, these evil terrorists. And the memorial gets destroyed because, first and foremost, the left-wing court here in Israel hands down a lot of these demolition orders, but ultimately because of international pressure. And we throw the word international pressure around a lot here on the show, but specifically governments around the world that do not allow Jews to build in Judea and Samaria. By the way, they let Arabs, Palestinians, who are behind these terror attacks and who are the ones that killed Rina Schnurb, they let them build wherever they want, illegally, however they want, and there's tens of homes being built every single day illegally here in Judea and Samaria. They're fine with that. International bodies are fine with that. They say that's totally cool. But Israel, Jews, they cannot build homes in Judea and Samaria. So for me, that's just crazy that governments like mine, like my government, the United States of America, and other bodies, governmental bodies around the world, put pressure on Israel and pressure Israel to destroy Jewish homes in Judea and Samaria because of the Jews did not get special permission from them to build a new memorial for a girl that was murdered by evil terrorists. Is this the way things should be going? Is this the way Jews should live in their homeland, in the place that God promised to Abraham, saying, I will give this land to you and your descendants back in Genesis 12? Is this the way Jews should live? Is this the way the nation of Israel should operate? Absolutely not. International bodies should have no say in where Jews are allowed to build and not build inside the land of Israel. that's a little bit of what's going on, especially with this specific pergola, this memorial observation post that was destroyed this morning. Very, very sad and unfortunate. But guys, the main reason is because of governments like ours, governments like the United States of America and European governments and the UN, the European Union, that are constantly telling Israel, nope, you can't do that because we don't approve. You can't let your Jews build houses in Judea and Samaria. Guys, this has got to stop. This is where we come in. This is where we can support the nation of Israel. We can call our representatives. We can call our governments and say, we do not support the stopping of Jewish building in Judea and Samaria. I think we need to be very proactive in our support for the nation of Israel. All right, guys, to close out the show today, I've got some good news. The defense security here in Israel is actually going to be taken up another notch. The Air Force, Israel's Air Force, is requesting to purchase more F-35s, the F-35 fighter jets. Yesterday, the defense minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, sent an official letter of request to the United States for the purchase of a third squadron of 25 F-35 aircraft. So that's going to be really, really cool, bringing them to Israel. This will actually bring Israel's number of fighter jets, of F-35 fighter jets, to 75. Their whole fleet of aircraft to 75 F-35s. Obviously, they have all the different jets as well. But something that I thought was very interesting, specifically connected to Israel and why F-35s are so valuable and crucial to the defense of the state of Israel. This is from the Jerusalem Post. It says the F-35 is considered crucial in the Mabam, which is the war between wars against Iranian proxies in Syria, as well as in the event that the IDF would need to eventually strike Iran's nuclear program. Very likely that may happen. It has stealth technology, which makes it more able to strike targets throughout the Middle East with impunity, and its surveillance and intelligence capabilities far exceed Israel's older F-16 and F-15 aircraft. For example, it is said to be easily capable of outwitting Iran's S-300 anti-aircraft missile system and possibly even the S-400 system, whereas other Israeli aircraft would have more trouble. So that was a little excerpt from the Jerusalem Post talking about why this is very valuable to Israel. The defense minister said he approved the request to send the letter of request on the recommendation of the IDF Chief of Staff, the Defense Ministry Director General, and the commander of Israel's Air Force. So this is very good news. Israel is getting stronger. Israel's military and Air Force specifically is getting stronger. They're so very focused on defending the nation of Israel, and we thank God for a strong military. We continue to pray and lift up Israel's defense forces that are constantly defending the state of Israel. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Really appreciate you tuning in today to the Israel Guys. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, leave us a comment down below. We love interacting with you there. Don't forget, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We'll be back every day, Monday through Friday, with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.